As the state of Missouri moves to the next phase in the coronavirus vaccine rollout plan, we'll hear from area vaccine providers on their supply. Authorities arrest a Lamar, Missouri murder suspect in Oklahoma. Restoration work begins on a nearly 50-year-old Webb City monument, the Praying Hands.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
More Missouri residents are now eligible to receive coronavirus vaccines. This is KOAM News at 6. The state today opened up Phase 1B Tier 2 of the vaccination plan, meaning that residents 65 and older and people with underlying health conditions can get the vaccine if they can find a provider with supply. Mercy Hospital today started vaccinating residents in that category by using a portion of the vaccine shipment they received on the 13th. And the McDonald County Health Department is doing the same. But other healthcare providers don't have enough vaccines to start vaccinating people in this step, and they don't know when they will. Officials with Freeman Hospital and Nevada Regional Medical Center say they've ordered vaccines from the state, but they're still waiting.
We don't know what's going to happen with that. We were thinking maybe the federal government may have had some vaccines, but apparently it's our understanding that maybe there's not a lot that are in reserve. So we're just waiting on communication from the state.
Going from 1A to 1B, Tier 1, Tier 2 in a short amount of time, that's kind of put us in a position that's a little frustrating because the vaccine is not there.
We're going to hear more about the issues tonight at 9 and 10. The Jasper County Health Department reports 3 new coronavirus-related deaths. Officials say the patients were all women, 2 in their 80s, 1 in her 60s. These deaths bring the county's total to 113. You can get updated COVID statistics from other communities all around the 4 states by clicking on the link at koamnewsnow.com. Authorities in Oklahoma arrest a suspect in a Lamar, Missouri murder. David Morris of Dunaweg, Missouri, was arrested today in Grove, Oklahoma. Morris is a suspect in the July 2020 murder of 51-year-old Terry Harless of Lamar. 2 other suspects, Trey Ackerson of Joplin and Lane Bronson of Webb City, have also been arrested in this case. All 3 are charged with second-degree homicide. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Dal. I hope you've had a great day. And our weather for us today, really not that bad. Our temperatures, they did go into the mid-50s for high. So actually quite a bit warmer than what we saw over the weekend, but we did have a lot of clouds across the region. We have a weak little cold front that is sliding through as we speak. So with it, we are getting in the clouds, and you can see some rain popping up on the radar, but really none of this is reaching the ground. So I really think most of us are going to stay dry as we work through the evening hours. There may be a random little sprinkle or 2 in our southern counties, but that should be just about it. Temperatures still not that bad. Most of us are sitting mid to upper 40s to near 50 in our southern counties, but the winds are switching out of the west, eventually out of the northwest, and that's going to cool us back down a little bit by the time we head into the daytime hours tomorrow. For the evening hours, we look okay. We'll drop back through the 40s, 30s. Kind of cold for us tonight. Of course, we're going to look at our next storm system here in a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Doug. Kansas abortion opponents are moving with unusual speed to put an anti-abortion amendment to the state constitution on a ballot. Backers of the measure fear a COVID-19 outbreak could thwart them if they delay. The proposed amendment would overturn a state Supreme Court decision in 2019 that declared access to abortion a fundamental right under the state constitution. It would declare there is no Kansas constitutional right to abortion and preserve the legislature's power to regulate it. One or both chambers could debate the measure later this week. Efforts to pass the measure last year ended when the legislature shortened its session because of the pandemic. The pandemic has led to a shortage of blood donations, including a critical need for type O blood. To help replenish the supply of the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks, Freeman Health System in Joplin is hosting a blood drive tomorrow. That's going to run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It'll be in the conference room at Freeman Joplin West. Freeman officials say donors 17 years of age or older who weigh at least 110 pounds and have not given blood in the past 8 weeks are encouraged to participate. Donors can choose to be entered into a drawing for a chance to get a new Nissan SUV and a t-shirt. Restoration work begins on the Praying Hands in Webb City. The monument was built back in 1973, but time and the elements have taken a toll on that statue. Water damage is beginning to infiltrate the interior of the structure. The Dawson Heritage Foundation has contracted Midland Enterprise to stabilize the base, and several subcontractors are pitching in their services free of charge to preserve this historic symbol.
I like to give all the credit for any of this stuff to the Lord, because that is truly what it's all about, and that's who we're here to lift up. This isn't about us individually. This is about what it stands for.
Tonight at 10, we're going to meet the artist behind the Praying Hands and hear what it means to him to see this monument preserved for future generations. Still ahead, an area organization uses an act of service to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and how an Oklahoma state agency is providing workforce training programs to residents. People all across our nation today are celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. One of the events happening locally was hosted by Joplin for Justice. Since the pandemic hasn't allowed for normal gatherings, organizers decided to use the event to pick up trash around the area. Volunteers in Joplin and surrounding towns met to clean up their communities as an act of service to honor the civil rights leader.
Instead of hosting one big event where we can get a bunch of people together, we really kind of wanted to reduce the amount of contact and kind of spread it out all over town. So that way we're kind of reaching all different parts of the area, including Webb City, Neosho, and Carl Junction.
That's right. Other communities where volunteers picked up trash included those communities: Carl Junction, Neosho, Webb City. The Oklahoma Office of Workforce Development is trying to make workforce training programs available to more residents. Programs include training for IT services, manufacturing skills, and a dislocated worker program, among others. All of these training services are available free of charge to Oklahoma residents.
Oklahoma companies looking to hire more workers. So we know that we're digging out of kind of the bottom of where COVID put our economy. So we've seen more interest. We've seen people looking at all kinds of careers at the moment.
The training programs are available at the Oklahoma Works American Jobs Center in Miami. More than 20 businesses in Crawford County are teaming up with Live Well Crawford County to work on reducing the spread of COVID-19. One of the solutions they came up with was to run a campaign promoting contactless grocery delivery for residents, especially those who've tested positive for the virus. Ron's Supermarket, Pittsburgh, is one of the partners, and they're using a grant to cover the delivery fee for 300 customers. They still have around 280 waivers left. Doug Hetty is up next with his complete forecast. And later, we're going to hear from a Missouri man who started an online petition calling for U.S. Senator Josh Hawley to resign.
Well, it turned out to be a decent Monday for us today. Even though we had a lot of clouds all day long for us today, at least temperature is pretty good as we went into the mid-50s for afternoon highs. And really right now, it's not that bad. We're sitting at 47, a west wind at about 5 to 10. A very weak little cold front has been slipping through at least over the past couple hours. And this is going to cool us back down just a bit as we work into the overnight hours tonight. 48 in Pittsburgh, 47 in Seneca, 46 in Carthage. Miami is sitting at about 46 degrees. And you can see those winds are slowly shifting around toward the north, but most of us still sitting mid to upper 40s to near 50 degrees. And eventually it's going to get kind of cold as we drop all the way back into the lower 30s to upper 20s later on tonight. All right, the winds have been fairly light, but again, they're picking up out of the northwest and a little breezy for us late tonight into the daytime hours tomorrow. The rest of the evening is going to be okay. Just a lot of clouds. We'll drop back through the 40s, 30s, eventually to about 29 or 30 later on tonight. But with this weak little wave, we definitely have the clouds, but we just don't have much in the way of moisture to work with. Now, you can see some showers popping up. This is mainly in our southern counties, and most of this is not even reaching the ground. There may be a random sprinkle or two, but that's it, as this system will kind of get going as it pushes off toward the east. But we're going to have a lot of clouds tonight, but at least we'll get some sunshine back in here during the daytime hours for us tomorrow. But those northerly winds kind of ushering in a little bit cooler air as we work into the daytime hours on Tuesday. Out to the west, we do have a couple storm systems trying to get organized, but again, they're fairly weak. There's one out across parts of Idaho and then also all the way down toward Los Angeles, and these are going to eject out late Wednesday into Thursday, but it doesn't look like they're going to greatly affect us. So actually, I think most of this week is going to be fairly quiet until we get into the weekend. All right, upper 20s to near 30 for overnight lows tonight. If you're getting up early, temperatures start at about 29. Northwest winds, kind of breezy throughout the daytime hours. A lot of clouds in the morning, some sunshine in the afternoon. 41 by noon, high temp at 46 during the afternoon. So Tuesday, not terrible. Here comes that next weak little wave. This is going to be late Wednesday into Thursday. We'll get some clouds. We may get a random sprinkle or maybe a quick shower, but that's it. Most of Thursday looks okay. Friday looks okay. We head into the weekend. We'll start to get chances for showers in here Saturday night and into Sunday morning. This is actually two systems. So the first one passes by Sunday. A second system presses in on Monday. We may get a little bit of snow on the backside of this system on Monday, but we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Then 2 days later, on Wednesday into Thursday, we'll get another storm system. I know it doesn't look like much on this model here. This is a projection of what could happen, but this system right here will be a much bigger system than what it looks like on the map. We'll have to watch that over the next few days. 46 tomorrow, 56 on Wednesday, 55 on Thursday, down to 45 by the time we head into Friday. Any rain on Saturdays, mainly Saturday night, so I think most of Saturday looks pretty good, but temperature's pretty good for the next 5 days.
And Doug, I'm going to guess that you and your family enjoyed being at Arrowhead Stadium for that Chiefs game yesterday.
Yeah, we had a fantastic time. A little bit on the cold side and a little nervous as well, especially when Patty went down.
Your cheering helped put them over the top, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, Oklahoma National Guard troops make their way to our nation's capital. An online petition demanding the resignation of Missouri Senator Josh Hawley now has more than 142,000 signatures. The movement stems from Hawley's objections to the Electoral College results. It was started by someone in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Reporter Alina Cheapy spoke to the man behind the petition.
As constituents, we're not happy about the way that Hawley has used his position.
And that's why Aaron Lerma, a Cape Girardeau native, created this petition demanding Senator Josh Hawley's resignation.
We're demanding the resignation of Josh Hawley for inciting violence at our nation's capital and for his attempt to overthrow the election results from 2020.
And thousands have signed the petition. Lerma says constituents in Missouri feel the same way.
We know that we have folks from the Boot Heel, from Southeast Missouri, where this particular petition started, but as well from places like Kansas City and St. Louis and Columbia, Springfield, and all the rural areas in between where people are signing on to this petition.
Senator Hawley released a statement on Thursday saying, quote, "I will never apologize for giving voice to the millions of Missourians and Americans who have concerns about the integrity of our election."
I think the numbers speak very clearly that Missouri constituents do not believe that he is speaking for us.
But for Cape Girardeau County Republican Committee Chairman Matthew Henson,
I've not seen anything, I'm not aware of anything that would call for the recall of Senator Hawley.
Henson says Hawley is doing what he should as a senator when it comes to the election.
If my senator is raising his hand in question of that process, then he shouldn't be asked to resign. He should be applauded for doing what he should do.
And while Lerma does not agree, he says they will do anything to remove Hawley from the Senate.
If Hawley chooses not to resign, we will pursue expulsion, and we are pursuing expulsion. There are more than one ways to crack an egg. There's more than one way to get Hawley out of office.
Expulsion is very, very rare and very, very hard.
I reached out to John Shaw, director of Paul Simon Public Policy Institute, about the expulsions. Only 15 senators have ever been expelled.
To be, removed from the Senate requires a 2/3 vote from the U.S. Senate. So everyone in Missouri could be against him, but it doesn't really matter, frankly, at least until his term expires.
Lerma says he wants a senator that will hear everyone's voice.
We need a senator that will hear us and that will actually act on those policies and not do it in a violent way.
Again, that was Elena Chapey reporting. Tribe leaders of the Cherokee and Chickasaw nations want Congress to allow them to make agreements with the state of Oklahoma following a U.S. Supreme Court decision regarding criminal jurisdiction. Tribal officials say the ruling affirmed the reservations of the 5 tribes were never disestablished. The High Court ruled that Oklahoma prosecutors lack the authority to pursue criminal cases against Native American defendants in parts of the states. Tribal officials say if Congress approves legislation allowing for compacts between individual tribes and the state, the sovereign governments could develop a workable system for criminal jurisdiction that ensures public safety and justice. States of Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma are all sending National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. this week. That's to increase the security around Joe Biden's presidential inauguration. For its part, Oklahoma is sending 400 troops who made that trip yesterday. Reporter Angelicia Bruton has more.
National Guard troops are on their way to D.C. to support the 59th presidential inauguration.
People that volunteered to go do this had days of notice, if that. Some of them had even less. And the individuals that worked behind the scenes to try and get everyone out the door dropped all their long weekend plans and came and worked long hours to make this happen.
With their bags in hand, about 400 National Guardsmen lined up to fly to our nation's capital. Colonel Dan Fowler says their goal, once they land, is to protect and serve.
They'll do anything from protection and force for facilities and infrastructure, as well as medical, logistical, and comm support. So it just depends on what D.C. is going to task them to do.
Colonel Fowler says the National Guard always assists with presidential inaugurations, but this one is different. Businesses are boarded up and officials are on high alert. A large enforcement presence is on site at the U.S. Capitol and surrounding areas.
This is very special. The TAG was out here and greeted everyone before they left and told them, remember this is going to be significant. You will tell your grandchildren about that. And I said the same thing to my individuals before we sent them out the door. So obviously this is an unprecedented time.
The Guardsmen will join thousands of soldiers and airmen in D.C. to help law enforcement around the Capitol, National Mall, and White House. Guardsmen here in Oklahoma will also be assisting Oklahoma Highway Patrol should any protests turn violent.
Again, that was Angelicia Bruton reporting. Currently, there is no set return date for the Guard members. Final check of the forecast is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Tim Senecott served in the U.S. Army for 26 years. The Girard, Kansas native was stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we salute Lieutenant Colonel Tim Senecott, a four-state hero. Jordan Abbey joins us now with a look at what's coming up on our sister station, KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Dow, tonight at 9, we're going to speak with officials at one Joplin hospital who say they're ready to go with Missouri's next vaccine rollout plan. Plus, people across the nation pause to remember the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. And the Girl Scouts team up with a foods delivery company to make sure this pandemic ain't affecting their cookie sales. And thank God for that. That and much more coming your way tonight at 9.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, got to have those Thin Mints for sure. Let's check back with Doug Heddy.
All right, Dow, it looks like tonight's going to be fun. We could have a random sprinkle in our southern counties, but turning colder, we'll drop back into the upper 20s for overnight lows. And then 46 tomorrow, a lot of clouds in the morning. But at least temperatures warm back up Wednesday and Thursday. Very slight chance for rain, but a much bigger storm system moving in late this weekend.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.